Yes, hello guys. This is your tech guy, Michael Bibo. I welcome you today to this channel, MB's College. My channel is called MB's College. Today I will be taking you through revision. I know many TVET colleges out there. People are not doing the required revision even so that they prepare well for the NEC exam. So this video will be helping you in your revision. So today I'll be doing this for IT students, even those who are in universities. The unit I'm going to cover is even also covered in university. The unit I'm going to cover today is this one. As you can see, structured programming, which was done in November 2021 by the Kenya National Examination Council, Craft Certificate in Information Technology, Module 2, Structured Programming. So this is the paper that we're going to be revising today. So don't forget to like our videos and also comment, follow us, and even comment on our videos. So our first question here is this one. So we'll be doing the whole paper, so don't worry, as much as the video might be long, but it is good to get the right thing. Now the first question here says outline three types of tokens, three types of C tokens used in a C program. Maybe just before we start answering these questions, I would like you to note that the 2021 November structured programming paper had a higher percentage of questions coming from a topic called data structures. For university guys, they normally call it data structures and algorithm. For TVET, data structures is just a unit, and the many programming languages that you do C and C programming. So in structured programming, there is a topic called data structures, where you cover things like linked list, arrays, and many more. So 2021, I did an analysis, and I found that the November paper had a lot of data structures questions. So okay, that was just a highlight. So let us proceed. So this question says outline three types of C tokens used in a C program. So what you need to understand as a student is this. What does the term token or tokens mean in relation to programming? So let me just brief you here through my PowerPoint presentation. So I'll call this one tokens. Let me call these tokens. Tokens in C programming. Tokens in C programming. So what are tokens, or what is a token? What is a token? So token is the smallest individual element in C, and the examples of tokens, which now the question this question actually needed the three types of C tokens. So the examples include let me do bulletins. Okay, the examples include one, keywords. Number two is identifiers. Number 3 is what we call constants. Number 4 is strings. Number 5 is special symbols, and then number 6 we have operators. So these are the tokens available in the C language, and you need token is the smallest individual element in C. So they include keywords, identifiers. Maybe let us now go through them and understand what these things actually are. Like for instance, what are these things we are calling keywords? The keywords. Keywords are just predefined. These are predefined words. Predefined words in the C language, in the C programming language. That is what keywords are. These words already have a meaning. They are words that already have a meaning and functionalities in the C language. So examples of keywords include something like int, float, if, else. So these are predefined words in C language, so therefore we call them what? We call them keywords. Identifiers. Let us move to identifiers. This is about keywords. Let me make a slide for identifiers. Identifiers. No spelling. Okay. Identifiers. These are just user defined. These are the are user defined names for what? Names of variables, user defined names of variables, functions, user defined names for variables, functions, or any other entity that requires a name. So these are, now it is you to give the name when you are doing the programming. Like for instance, you can create a variable to store student marks, so you can call it, maybe let's say int S marks. So S marks standing for student marks. In this scenario, int is the data type, while S marks is the what? Is now the identifier. Let me proceed to maybe string. String refers to a collection of characters. A collection of characters. That is what a string means. A collection of characters means something that has ABCDs together with 1, 2, 3, and even some special characters like exclamation mark, the commas. Those are special characters. So a collection of these is called a string. Maybe just an example, we can say that it's the character, then we give here into this square bracket, we provide the number of characters. So like for instance, character, so if we say character, maybe sname is student name. So this is a variable called sname. This is a variable called sname of type string, made up of characters, and the characters should not be more than 10. This is just like maybe your M-Pesa pin is not supposed to be more than 4 digits. So this is now where we can specify how many characters should be someone's name. Then okay, that was a string. Now we proceed to constant. Let me make another slide. Proceed to constant, and constant is usually defined as a value assigned to a variable, which will remain the same. That is the language you can understand. Which will remain the same throughout the program, throughout the program. That is what a constant is, a value assigned to a variable which will remain the same throughout the program. Like for instance, just an example, let us say you are calculating, or you are creating a program or an application that will be calculating area of circles. So you will be prompting your user to enter maybe the radius of a circle, and then now the program simply proceeds to calculate and display the area of the circle. So you will have to declare, since in the formula there is pi r squared, you will have to declare pi to remain constant, because pi is always pi. So therefore you can say that you can declare maybe pi as const. So I will use the keyword const, then you say the variable name, first of all the data type of your variable, maybe float, that is your data type, and then the variable name or the identifier pi, and then you assign it a value 3.1427. So therefore with this, const makes this variable to be constant, and therefore not to change in any stage of the program. So it remains constant. It remains constant. Next is let me just use this slide to talk about special characters. Special characters. So special characters. Okay. Oh, I wanted the text color to be green, and then increase the size so that you can see. Okay, so special characters. These are characters which with the special meaning in C. These are characters with special meaning in C. Characters with special meaning in C. So these are characters with spatial meaning in C. So that is what special characters are. Example, maybe you guys normally call it the star, but the name of this thing is the name of this star is asterisk. I call it asterisk. It has a special meaning. Sometimes you can use it as a multiplication sign. Sometimes we use it with the pointers to declare pointers. So it has special meanings in different stages of programming. Then we have this full stop. So let me put it inside the bracket. This full stop. You call it a full stop, but in programming we call it a period. We can call it a period, or sometimes you can call it the dot operator. The dot operator or a period. So it is also used in different stages of programming. Like for instance, sometimes when we are calling functions, sometimes when we are accessing items or members of an operator, or members of a structure, not an operator but members of a structure. So that is it. I think now we have I have explained much more, other than just answering the question. Here, the tokens available in C language, keywords, identifiers, constant strings, special symbols, and operators. I've also gone further to explain to you what these things are, and also provide you with an example so that you can have an understanding of what really these things are. Okay. Now we can proceed to maybe the next question. With the question. Okay, so the next question is question number 2. Oh, not question number 2, but question number 1b. Question number 1b talks about outline the use of each of the following operators in a C program. Outline the use of the following operators in a C program. 1 is relational and 2 is logical. So this question term comes from a topic called operators. Question 1a comes from the topic called data structures. This one comes from a topic called operators. So I will not give you the answer first. I will take you through what are operators, and but I think we have also talked about operators in 1a. We have talked about operators in 1a. In 1a we have talked about operators, identifiers, constant, special. Oh, I did not talk about operators. So okay, let me talk about the operators here, as we also answered the question 2. Operators. What are they? What are operators? So operators are a special symbol performing specific functions. So there are also special symbols. So operators are special symbols performing specified functions. In a C program, in a C language program. So example, we can also say that it is a symbol that is used to perform operations. A symbol that is used to perform operations. So maybe example, just a quick example before we go to the categories. A plus, the plus sign is an operator. A minus sign is an operator, and many others as we'll be seeing. So now the question is about types of operators. So types of operators. So there are usually many types of operators, but let me first confine myself to the one that have been asked by the question. So the one asked here is relational operators. operators. So let me talk about relational operators. And what does the question need about the relational operator? It says outline the use of relational operators. So but what are they, even before we know the use? So these are operators used to check the relationship between two operands. So used, this is not number 2, just an explanation. Used to check or define the relationship between two operands, between two operands. It is also called a comparison operator because it compares two items. So it is also called comparison operator, as it compares two items. Maybe an examples include, let me start with equal to. Equal to is double equal signs. You need to note that one equal sign is not a relational operator, but it is an assignment operator. Hope you're not getting this one right. One equal sign is an assignment operator, and that is why when you are being taught about variables, you will find that you are assigning a value to a variable. Like for instance, int max is equal to 70, so that is assigning 70 to the variable max. So therefore equal sign becomes an assignment operator. But double equal sign is now is now supposed to be equal to. You know, and it is becoming a little bit different with what we learned in primary and high school. So this is equal to, maybe e.g. A, variable a is equals to b. Okay. Not equal to is an exclamation mark followed by the equal sign. So not, this we say not equal to, maybe e.g. a should not be equal to 7. So that is a is not equal to 7. So that is how it is read. And many more, or many other, like for instance greater than, let me not put the comma, you might think that it is part of it. This is greater than, then this greater or equals to, this is less than, then this is less than or equal to, less than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay, now we also have next is and other than relational operator, another operator that has been asked about is called the logical operator. So what is a logical operator? What is logical operator? So these are operators used to make decision in a program. They're used to make decisions in a program. Like for instance, examples is the operator and, which uses the symbol the dollar. I think let me change these. Let me change the font type to what we are used to. Let me see if I can find Calibri. Or Arial Black, so that I can do this. Oh, need this font Calibri or Arial Black. Yeah, so the $sign, yeah, that one. So this one is normally referred to as the AND operator. We have the double pipe. This is referred to as the OR operator. The OR operator. Then we have the exclamation mark. This is normally referred to as NOT. So those are the logical operators. They are normally used in decision making. Like for instance, we can say that A should be equal exactly. I don't need the small a. A should be exactly equals to 5, and B should be exactly equals to 7. So the program should continue only if this condition has been met. You see, that is why we call it the logical operator used to make decisions in a program. So just as a bonus, other operators, but we'll not talk much about them. One is assignment operator. Oh, I had even talked about it. Assignment operator. This is used to assign values to a variable. Like for the assignment operator can be like equal sign. That is an assignment operator. Then lastly, arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, they are used to do mathematical calculations in a program. Like for instance, plus, minus, modulus. By the way, modulus is we use a percentage sign, modulus. In some other programming languages, they use the word mod for modulus. It is a mathematical or arithmetic operator. So therefore, I think we have answered question 1 very well. Okay, let us proceed. The next one is state 3 differences between a character and a string constant as used in a C program. A character and a string as used in a C program. 1. I don't answer questions before we know which topic this question is coming from. When you talk about characters, strings, integers, float, double, boolean, what are we talking about? This is a topic called data types. So therefore, this is something that comes from data types in what? Data types in C. Let me not tell you what data types are, but let us just proceed to be answering the question. So let me create a new slide for this. Okay. So character constant. So this actually refers to a single character enclosed within quotation marks. It refers to a single means one character enclosed within quotation marks, enclosed within quotation marks. So I think the more of these questions are about the structure of just the C language, the structure and flow of the C language. You need to understand that one. An example, I think we had even declared a constant, like for instance, const character grade. Someone's grade can be what? A character. Can be a character A. Can be a character A. So here, const is the keyword used to define a constant. Character is the data type. Grade is the identifier name or the variable name, and then A here is our character being enclosed in what? Enclosed within quotation what? Quotation marks. Okay, let me just proceed here in this slide to show you about the string constant. So string constant, so refers to more than one character enclosed in quotation marks. A string, your name is a string, so it refers to more than one character enclosed in what? In quotation marks, enclosed in quotation marks. That is e.g. We can have const characters, many characters. So since there are many characters, the name is student name, or let me say number plate, let's say n plate, that is the number plate of a vehicle. N plate, then I say how many characters should this one be? KAZ 291 K. Those are almost 7 characters, so I just say 7 characters, and then I can assign a value to be maybe KAZ 765 D. So yeah, so therefore const is the keyword, constant, character is the data type, and then the variable name. So 7, when you put the square bracket, now this one becomes not data type of character but data type of string. Then this is an assignment operator, then this is the value assigned to that given variable. So I think we have answered that question well, and in an understandable manner. In an understandable manner, my camera. Okay, we can proceed to question 3. Question 3 talks about outline 3 disadvantages. Let me zoom. Yeah, okay, outline 3 disadvantages of a low level programming language. Outline 3 disadvantages of a low level programming languages. This question comes from categories of programming languages. But before we answer the question about the disadvantages of low level, we need to understand what is the programming language, the two main categories like low level language and high level language, and then now I will finally proceed to give you the disadvantage. So let me go to my slide. Okay, so this question comes from categories of programming languages. Categories of programming languages. But now, what is a programming language? What is a programming language? A programming language is a set of instructions. It is a set of instructions that are compiled together, to perform a specific task by the computer. By the computer. That is a programming language, a set of instructions that can be used to provide maybe instructions to a computer. Examples of programming languages is C, Java, Python, C++. These are examples of programming language. Now, we have one category of programming language called low level language of programming language. Low level language. So this is a programming language that provides no abstraction from the hardware. Like it accesses the hardware like directly. There is no barrier between that language and the hardware of the computer. So we just say it is a programming language that provides no abstraction from the hardware, from the computer hardware. So this language accesses the memory and even the caches directly. There are also some subcategories of languages that belong to this category. One is machine level language. Machine language, and this machine language is a language that consists of instructions that are in binary form. A language that consists of instructions. A language that consists of instructions that are in binary form. When you talk about binary form, we're talking about zeros and what? Zeros and ones. Then the other language is called is referred to as assembly language. Assembly language. I want to increase this to 16 maybe. Yeah. Assembly language. So assembly language consists of some human readable commands, some even written in English. So a language that consists of what? Human readable commands. Like for instance, add, subtract. So it has something that human can understand and can read. Human cannot read zeros and ones. Only machine can understand that language. Okay. If you want to understand more about the difference between machine and if you want to understand more about the difference between machine language and assembly language, then go to our website, which is mbscollege.co.ke, and then you'll find there a well-structured note about programming language and different programming languages and the differences between machine and assembly language. Then we have now, other than to go back here. Okay, other than low level language, we also have now high level language. We also have the high level language. So what is high level language? Since low level language was a language that provides no abstraction to the hardware, high level language is a language that allows a programmer to write programs which are independent of a particular type of computer. So you just write software which does not specifically supposed to be working on a certain type of computer. From a low level language, you are writing machine understandable code. So So zeros and ones, maybe they are only understood, maybe the code you're writing is only understood by a certain particular type of computer. So that is what it is. Now, so high level language is an application language. Application language. An application language that allows programmers to write programs which are independent of a particular which are independent of a particular type of computer. Yeah. So examples are C and C++, oh, not C, but C++. C is in between there. Now let us answer the question: the disadvantages of low-level language. When you want to understand more about these languages, go to our website, mbscollege.co.ke. So the disadvantages, let us answer the question. The disadvantages of what? Of low-level language, low-level programming language. So what are the disadvantages of using a language which is machine assembly or machine language or assembly language, which is only maybe for a specific computer, on only in zeros and ones or in binary form? So one disadvantage is that it is difficult to comprehend or understand machine machine language. It is difficult to understand machine language. That is the language of zeros and ones. The language of zeros and ones. That language is difficult to understand. This is whenever there is a problem with the application that I've created with this language, it is very complex to debug. It is complex to debug. You guys, you know that to debug is to find and fix errors in an application. There is no software or application that is usually perfect, so you must debug, go through debugging, testing. So it is difficult to debug, or let me just say it is difficult to develop, debug and maintain. You know, when you're developing the application, it is difficult to understand that language. To debug is to fix errors, and maintain is to be maybe modifying and adding some functionalities to your application. So then the language is non-portable. Non-portable. I will explain what this one is. Non-portable means you find that in high-level language we are able to create write programs that are independent of a particular type of computer, but for low-level language we write application for a specific computer. So therefore the application that I've created for my laptop cannot be moved to another computer. So that is what this one means. And then this language, of course, since it is difficult, it is more prone to errors. If you're not an expert in it, you will have a lot of errors. So these are the disadvantages of low-level languages that these guys, the knec guys, needed from you. They needed 3. I have given you how many? I've given you 4. Yeah, that is not bad. That is not bad. Okay. Let us proceed to question 4. John used not John, but John used linked list data structures in her program. I told you this paper was focusing on data structures. So John used linked list in her program. Outline 4 advantages she is likely to to realize from using these data structures. So the advantages of what? Linked lists. But now, what are data structures? What are linked lists? Are there any other data structures other than linked lists? Let us see and then answer the question. Let us see and then answer the question. Data structures. What are data structures? Data structures are used to store data in an organized and efficient manner in a C program. That is what data structures are. Let me use this one. Data structures. Data structures. So data structures, these are the structures. They are the structures used to store data in an organized and efficient manner in a computer or in a computer program. So in C programming, examples of these data structures include array, stack, queue. Sometimes queue used to say queue, linked list. Linked list, we have tree, we have binary tree. So those are, now at least you have an understanding of what data structure is and some examples. So now let us proceed and answer the question. These guys are talking about advantages of linked lists. So I'll just proceed to give you the advantages of linked list. One advantage of a linked list is that overflow can never occur unless the memory is actually full. I know you may not understand this, but you will come to our website and read more about linked lists and even data structures, and you will be able to understand what these points mean. So overflow can never occur unless the memory is actually full. That is one advantage. Then two, insertions and deletions are easier than for arrays. So insertion, that is inserting data. So I can even say inserting and deleting data is easier than what? Than in arrays. Another one, with large records, moving pointer is easier and faster. You can use pointers to move and even access data in these storage structures. Okay, so number 3, with large records, moving pointers is easier. Moving pointers is easier than is easier and faster. So that is what it is. Another one is that linked lists are dynamic data structures, so can grow and shrink during runtime. So they are dynamic. Linked lists, they are dynamic, hence the memory can do what? Can grow and shrink at runtime. So at runtime, there is a benefit of that thing happening. And maybe lastly is that there is efficient memory utilization. There is efficient memory utilization, and this can be attributed even to the shrinking and growing of memory at runtime. That is depending on the amount or volume of data that a given memory has been allocated. So when during runtime, when users push more data into your application software, the memory allocated grows. When the users become very few and they're pushing little data into your application, then the memory shrinks. And you know that one enhances the function, the way the software acts, either fast or slow. Okay, you know, everything that has advantages has disadvantages. Let me not talk about them here. Visit our website, mbscollege.co.ke, and then you'll be able to understand the disadvantages of these things. Okay, I think now that one is covered. Let us proceed to the next one, which is question 5. Question 5 says, explain one reason that will make a programmer use, I think there is a typing error here from knec, use of each. It is supposed to be use each of the following escape sequence operators in a C program. This question again is coming from operators, types of operators. Now you know that other than arithmetic operators, logical operators, we also have what? The escape sequence operators, and here are the examples. But let me give you more about these operators. So before we answer the question, which says when or reason why somebody will, a programmer, especially a programmer, will use this sequence operator, that is /n and /r. And in fact, it is for C language, it is not a forward slash, it is supposed to be a backslash. So knec hapo na watoa makosa kidogo, it is supposed to be a backslash, not forward slash. Maybe in C++, we can use forward slash. I will confirm later on. Okay, let us proceed. My new slide. Oh, come on. Okay, so let me just put a topic here called what? Escape sequence operators. Escape sequence operators. Escape sequence operators. What are they? They are special characters used to change or modify the float or the format of the output string. Just how the format, how is information is or an output is displayed on a screen. So they are special characters used to change or modify the format of the output string They are usually not displayed or printed with the output. So one of them is we'll use the ones that have been provided there. One is the \n. \n, it is used to move cursor to next line. It is used to move the cursor to next line. That is when you are doing when the program is outputting something. Like for instance, let me just give you a short code, maybe #include okay, #include st. I think let us do this one from Falcon so that you can be able to see, or we will run it in Falcon. Let me, which one is fast, which one is better? Let me do it from Falcon. Let me open Falcon so that you can run it. Falcon. Oh, come on, it did not take much time. Oh, come on. Is it taking much time to open Falcon? Okay, as it is opening, let me be writing the code, and then I can just carry it there. I can just paste it there. So hash include stdio dot h. I think it has opened. Okay, file, then sc file. So, okay, so hash include stdio standard input output dot h. Then I'll go to my int main. Okay, and then I say printf, what do we print? Hello world, close my quotation, and then before I close the quotation, put a backslash and then put an n, then close the quotation, and then printf again, printf into quotation, good morning, then okay, then backslash r, where is r, and then close the close the quotation, and then close the quotation, and then return 0, and then do this. So let us see the output of this one. So let me run, let me override it. Okay, we are waiting. Let me hope we don't have an error. Okay, as you can see the output, hello world. I don't know if somebody can zoom here. Okay, I can zoom here. So the output hello world. So hello world, after hello world, in the application, in the code we have /n. Let me zoom the code. Oh, how do I zoom here? I have just forgotten how to zoom. Okay, let me just proceed. So after hello world here there is /n, meaning go to the next line. Then printf good morning. So print good morning the next line, and then move the cursor to the leftmost side of the application. That is what /n here means. Okay, let us proceed. I think you have seen how this one works. So /n is used to move cursor to the next line. Then to the next line. So I can even copy my code from here, copy, and then paste it in my presentation here. Yeah. Okay, now next is the other symbol, which is what? /r. So what is this work of this escape sequence? What is the work of this escape sequence /r? So /r is actually its name is called, the carriage return. It is called carriage return. That is yondo jina yake, that is its name. It is called carriage return, and its work is to move the cursor to the start of the line. Its work is to move the cursor to the start of the line. No, the line starts from the left side of the screen. Yeah? Okay, let us test from this code. I'll just modify this code so that we can have so it change this n to an r, and then here we don't need any sequence operator. So what will happen, we know we are expecting hello world, then good morning, but since after hello world the cursor in the same line, the cursor will move back to the h that is going back and then start printing good morning. So we will not see the hello world. Let us run. You see we only have good morning, but you see printf hello world good morning, but you're only having good morning. Why? Because the program displayed good morning, yes, you did not see it because it is backend. Then after displaying hello world, the cursor moved back to h, that is at the start of the line, and printed good morning. Therefore hello world was like overtaken or overridden, or you can use any other word as a programmer or as a developer. Okay, so that is it. I can put this on in my code in here, that one. So that is it. So you have gotten to understand this information about what? About escape sequence. Number 6, 7, 8, 9. It was a short break, so let us proceed. Question 6. The surface area of a cuboid is obtained by using the formula 2 into bracket width times length plus length times height plus height times width. Write a C program that will declare the dimensions and compute the surface area of the cuboid and display on the screen, given that the length is equals to 10, width 20, and height is equals to 4 marks. This question is 4 marks, and it is testing a number of things for you that you need to be able to understand. Some of the things being tested by this question include, let me just do this. So some of the things being tested in this question is this one. 1, you're able to do you understand the flow? Do you understand the flow of C program? Do you know how to declare variables? How to declare variables? Do you know how to assign values to variables? And do you know how to output a result of a calculation? So that is some of the tips, this question, some of the knowledge that you need to understand so that you can handle this question. Okay, so let us proceed. Since it is a programming question, we will use what? Falcon to test. So let me open my Falcon here. Okay. Let me open the Falcon. Okay, and then I start a new program. So my new program is hash include standard input and output dot h. Then int main is the next thing. Int main. The main has a body. Oh, come on, it automatically generated for me. Okay, the main has a body. So in the body, we're supposed to create or define variables, declare variables, and assign them values: length 10, width 20, and height 40. So we declare the variables like of type integer. So int L is equals to what? We've been told it is equals to 10. L is for length. W is for width, is equals to 20. And then height, H is equals to 40. So you have already been given these values by the question. So you need to declare, and as you declare, you assign the values that have been given. Then you also need to declare surface what? The surface area. So we can also just add here SA as surface area. SA as surface area. I'm looking on how this is the way I normally increase the font size. The size of zoom is control, increase is control num plus, control num plus, control num plus. Where is num? Okay, I think I can now zoom. Okay, so int length is 10, width is blah blah blah. Okay, then we can now say that surface area is calculated as 2 multiplied by, I use the multiplication sign, then L times width, L times W, L times W plus W times H plus H times L, H times L. Yeah, then end with the semicolon. Then now printf the result. Printf into bracket the surface area, the surface area is b full colon, then modulus d. Modulus is the percentage sign, d, meaning that my surface area is going to be in form of integer. Then I close the quotation, and then I called my variable name surface area, and then I end with the semicolon. So you have return 0. I can see there is a small error here. Let me see if it is going to hinder our program from running. So let us see. Okay, I'm being told that STIO, so it is supposed to be STDIO dot H. Then on line 6, implicit declaration of function printf, incompatible implicit declaration of built-in printf. Printf. What does this mean? Printf. Okay. The surface area is region. So okay, the surface area is 2800. Is it true? Length times width times height, blah blah blah. So that is it, 2800. Okay. Why is it that return 0 is refusing? Return 0. Yeah, it is okay now. Okay, so that is it, return 0. So this is the code that int main. You can, it is not a must you have this one. Some people can see these arguments here, and then they start fearing, okay, we can remove this one. This one cannot hinder the program from working. That is it. So I declare my variables, length, assign it value, width, assign it a value, and height, assign it a value, and then this is SA surface area. I calculate surface area of the keyboard as 2 blah 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 as given by the formula. Then I display as short as that one. That is what you are supposed to be providing so as to answer that question. So that one. So you need to understand the flow of a C program, how the C program starts and ends, from hash include, that is the header file, to int main, to return 0. You need to know how to declare your variables, do the calculation, and assign variable values to your variables, and then output results of the calculation on the screen. So that is what these guys are testing. Okay. Okay, now the next question is question 6. So we proceed to question 7. Question 7 says, Johnson intends to name identifiers when writing a C program. Outline 3 rules that he should observe. This question is using the word identifiers, which we talked about in question 1. If you look at my slides, in question 1 about tokens in C programming, we listed identifiers as one of the tokens in C programming, and we had keywords, we had identifiers, and we say that they are user-defined names of variables, functions, or any other entity that requires a name. And we gave an example like int max, s max, whereas s max is my student max. We have a data type, and then s max as the name of the variable. So this s max becomes our identifier. So what are the rules of naming this identifier? What are the rules of naming this identifier? So I can just fix it here. I can fix a slide here. new slide. Yeah, so rules for naming identifiers. What are the rules for naming identifiers? Rules for naming identifiers. Some papers will ask you about rules for naming variables. Some papers will ask you about rules for naming variables. So one is that an identifier should start with an alphabet or an underscore. The identifier name should start with what? With an alphabet or an underscore What does this mean? You can have a variable int s marks. That is acceptable. It is acceptable to have int underscore s int space underscore s marks. That is acceptable, but it is very wrong to have like something that which is not an alphabet, like for instance exclamation mark s marks or 5 s marks. So that is wrong. It is wrong to have, it should not start with any other special character. That is another rule that we're going to see. It should not start with the number. So another rule is that it should not start with what? It should not start with a number. Should not start with a number. Should not start with a number. Should not have 5 s marks as your variable name or identifier name. It should not contain space. A variable name or identifier name should not contain space. This means that when there are two words, like for instance let us say e.g. students space marks. It is wrong to have students space marks, but it is okay to have students marks being one word. So a variable name should not have what? Space. Should not contain commas. Should not contain commas or special characters other than underscore. Special characters like exclamation mark should not be contained in what? Should not be contained in the identifier name. So those are the rules. We proceed to question 8. Explain 2 ways of defining constants in a C program. Explain two ways of defining constants in a C program. So what are constants? I think we had talked about constants from question 1. From question 1 we had talked about constants here under list of tokens available. Identifiers, rules for naming identifiers, constant, and we say that a constant is a value assigned to a variable which will remain the same throughout the program. And for instance, const pi as what? 3.14. So therefore there are 2 ways of defining constant. There are two ways of doing what? Of defining constants. One way is by using the const, by using the const keyword. And the good example is this one. This is the best example, e.g. that one const pi. Const pi is equal to this one. So that is one of the ways. And number 2 is by using the hash define preprocessor directive. By using the hash define preprocessor directive. That is another method of defining the example here. I can say hash, let me put a space there, hash define, then maybe your constant is, the constant name is tax rate, then you don't use now here, you don't use an assignment operator, you just put space instead of an assignment operator and then say 16. So you're 16% when maybe the program is calculating the taxes of people from basic salary. So tax rate is going to be 16%. I think 16% is 0.16. So 0.16. So that is 16%. So my tax rate, the hash define, yeah. So that is the example. The syntax maybe for this example, the syntax, it is good to give you the syntax. Syntax is the procedure that you should be following in order to do what? To create something like that. So the syntax or the formula is use the hash define word, hash define syntax keyword, then your identifier name, that like your variable name, your identifier name, followed by space, then the value you are assigning to your variable. So that is it. So I think we have answered question 8 very well. There are 2 ways of defining constant. So this is our answer for question 8. We proceed to question 9. Distinguish between, my camera is it working okay? Distinguish between a pointer and an iterator as used in what? As used in C programming. Distinguish between a pointer and an iterator as used in C programming. So this is a question that comes from a topic called pointers. So we'll proceed to answer the question. Let me create a slide for this. So new slide. So pointers and iterators. So here my topic is pointers and iterators. Okay. So a pointer is just a variable which normally stores the address or the memory address of another variable. Variables in a program normally contain their address or specific addresses. So that address is a value. A variable stores a value. A variable is a memory location. This memory location has an address. So where is this address? Where can we store this address of this variable? This address is now stored in a pointer. So therefore we say that a pointer is a variable that stores the address of another variable. That is a pointer. Later on we will be checking more on how pointers work and even maybe see an example. But if you want to check more, go to our website mbscollege.com. .co.ke. Then an iterator, sometimes the spelling, an iterator is any object that is pointing to some element in a range of elements and has the ability to iterate through the elements of that range. You know, an example of an iterator, some of you are going to be shocked. An example of an iterator is like, for instance, for loop. The for loop. Actually, iteration is another word for means, or is another word for looping. Iteration is another word for looping. Iteration is another word for looping, which again means what? Doing something many times until a certain condition is met. Like, for instance, for loop, do while loop, those are iterators. So I think you have seen the difference. For more information, visit our website. Okay. Okay. Now we proceed to question what? We proceed to question 10. Question 10 has got two parts. Let me stretch a little bit. Okay, that was just relieving my chest and my ribs. Okay, let us proceed. Question 10 has 10A and 10B. Question 10A says, outline 3 disadvantages of using a call by reference method as used in C programming language. So this question has this part. Call by reference. What is call by reference? This is something that brings us back to a topic called functions in C programming language. So you must have a background understanding of functions in C, not functions of C, functions in C programming. What is a function? How to create functions or how to declare functions, the structure of functions. Then you need to understand function arguments and function parameters. You also need to understand now how to pass values to what? To the functions. So where we can pass by value and pass by reference, or call how to call a function, call by value and call by reference. So when you want to understand that information, a lot about functions in C, visit our website, or rather I also promise you I will be doing another video about functions in C programming. But let me see what little information I can give you as we also answer this question. So function. This question is from functions. So what is a function? So functions simply refers to a set or collection of code of code that performs a specific task in a program. That is what a function is. There are usually advantages of using functions. So read from our site. You'll see the advantages of using functions. So I'll go straight to what knec needs, the call by reference. But let me just give you, other than call by reference, we also have call by value. So let me just give you a small maybe difference about call by reference and call by value. So what is to call a function? To call a function is simply to invoke it. It here means the function. So to invoke it so that it starts being executed. Let me just be, you know, something like an M-Pesa application has many functions. We have Lipa na M-Pesa, we have withdraw money, we have Fuliza, you know, we have M-Shwari. So those are different functionalities in one program. The program is M-Pesa, so it has different functions. So therefore, to call a function, when you go to your SIM toolkit and then go to M-Pesa, you are initiating the application. When you go to send money, now you are calling the function send money to start working. So that is what and that is why we are saying a function is a set of code that performs a specific task. So in that specific application called, in the whole application called M-Pesa, there is a function which contains set of code that run that functionality for sending money. So when you start send money, that you are calling that function. So that is why we say call a function is simply to invoke that function so that it starts being executed, or it starts doing what, or it starts working. So there are two ways. So there are two ways of calling a function, and they are generally differentiated by the type of value being passed to them as parameters. So you, to understand parameters and arguments, read or any our content on mbscollege.co.ke. So we normally have two ways, the two ways of calling functions, so that it starts working. One way is one of the ways is called by value, and then the second one is called by reference, the one now being asked by knec. Maybe tomorrow they will ask about call by value, the next year they will ask about call by value. So you need to be a good reader. So when you talk about call by value, what does this mean? Let me put a bullet here. So call by value, while calling a function, in this scenario, while calling a function by value, what we do is we pass values of values of variables to the function, But when we call the variable by reference, then instead of passing the values, of variables, we pass the address. Of the variables. Maybe e.g. using pointers. That is what that means. So maybe just an example code of pass by value let me insert a new slide. Pass by value. Pass by value. Sometimes say pass by value or call by value. You can call pass by value or call by value. So it is just words that mean similar things. So let us say we have hash include stdio.h, then int main, if I have before the int main, let me declare a variable, a function void testing, having two arguments. One is int x and int y. So those are the two arguments, and these arguments are the ones, the arguments here is x and y, so they're the arguments which will be passing values to them when the program is executing. So you create two variables, a, and assign them maybe values 10, and another variable b to assign it 20. So these are the variables which will be passing to x and y. So that is why we say passing by value or call by value. That is what it means. These variables a and b, they contain the value 10 and 20. Those we will be passing these values to x and y, and that is why we say pass by or call by value. So so when we want to now pass by value, then we put this a comment, double slash means comment. So to pass by value, that is passing now those items. We call the function, and then pass by value, pass the items by value. So call the function and pass the parameters by value. What we are passing now is called the parameters. So the 10 and 20 become the parameters to be used by the function to do its work. So we call the function by its name, tunaita kwa majina yake. There is a song we used to sing in church, waite kwa majina yao. So testing is the name of the function. Then into bracket we pass the parameters a and b. So we are passing the variable names. And finally we can now print f. We call the function, then print f, that can print f the values of a, that a is equals to modulus d, but b is equals to modulus d on a new line. In a new line, print the value of a and also print the value of b after the function has run, then return 0. End of what? End of main. So here we are passing, or we are calling this function to work, and this function is going to print out the value of a and b. We can also give this function a body. You can give this function a body and then remove cut this one, and then say that this function is going to print the value of x and is going to print the value of what? The value of y. So that is it. So yeah, can we test? Okay, let us proceed. You can test by yourself. Then when it is passed by reference, this is passed by value or call by value. So let me make another slide for call by what? Call by reference. Now the one knec is talking about. call by reference. Call by reference. Call by reference. So we've already explained, so just an example. So call by reference, we can have hash include. Since we say that we are now accessing the variables, or we are passing values to the function using pointers, so we'll have hash include stdio.h. Then I will create my variable, my function, which will be calling first testing, then int, then I create what, a pointer using an asterisk, int, then a pointer, that is one parameter, and int pointer again. So those are the two arguments being passed to that function. Then I can have int main, and inside the main we can have now int a being equals to 10 and b being equal to 20. Then to pass now by reference, when I want to call the function, let me use let me show you that this is a comment. So we want to call function by reference in the next line here. So what we do, we call the function by its name, testing, then the parameters we pass is the value. We are using $7. I think this is a certain font type, so let me change it to Arial. I can use Arial, yeah, so that the dollar can look well. So $A, we will, I think there is a question in section 2 which talks much about pointers. We will understand why we are doing $A. $A is simply to access the value in that pointer, or the value, a pointer accessing a value in a certain variable. So A and then $B. We don't just say A and B, but we say $A and $B. So that is it. Return 0. So that is the difference. I think I have explained a lot from here, functions, then how we call functions, call by value and call by reference, and even given you some examples. So that is it. Oh, the question says advantages of call by reference. Okay, let us proceed. We have not yet finished. So the advantages of call by reference, I will only do the advantages of call by reference. The other stories about call by value and disadvantages and advantages, read them from our website. So the advantages of call by reference. Now we are answering the next question here. Those are the things are just to make you understand what they are talking about. You know, sometimes you may see a question in a paper and you even don't have an idea of what that thing is about. So number one is that the function can change the value of the argument. The function can change. You see, we are using some technical terms here: value, argument, parameter. So you need to read from our website and understand what these things are. So the function can change the value of the argument. Argument are those values being put in the brackets of the function. Then call by reference normally saves space. Space here means memory, as it does not create duplicate data, as it does not create duplicate data. Then it is faster processing of a function, followed by reference leads to faster processing of a function. Faster processing of a function. So that are some of the advantages of call by reference. The advantages of call by